Well, hello and welcome back to the PGSMP, everyone. Today I was mulling around a couple of thoughts of some things that I wanted to do, and well, we're kind of standing on a project that was working fine for me. I would just like to update it to the point where it's a little more automated. So we're going to make some changes to this farm, and I've already cleared some things out to the point where this is going to be a little bit easier for us. But this is going to allow me to make sure that this process will collect the goods off of the Crimson and Warped Nylium a little bit more fluidly, if you will. So let's go ahead and start by making sure that we get a collection or a better collection system put together. And for that, we're going to need to clear up a little bit of this redstone and bring over a couple of hoppers. I haven't made them just yet, but they're not that difficult to make. So let's fix that. There we go. We've got our hoppers here, and we're going to want to run these hoppers all into each other like so. And then we'll cap off the end of this area with a block. To give this farm a little bit more decor, we're actually going to make some polished basalt, and we're going to stack this up on the corners of the farm like so, and then we'll just go ahead and fill in the farm with basalt, but leading in a different direction. So we kind of get this sort of effect going on with the farm itself. So the next thing that we'll need now that we have a little retaining wall put up around here is I did have to bump these walls a little bit back, and that's because we're going to need to put a couple of dispensers, 5 to be exact, on either side of these different areas, just to make sure that we're flushing out the correct materials, or we can flush out the correct materials with the water buckets that we'll place in these in just a moment. Now, in case you had forgotten, we do have a dispenser right here under the center piece that contains the bone meal for the farm, and there's another one down below this block on this side of the farm as well. With the water that runs in, we should be able to see all of the goods get dropped into here. But just to make sure that they get in there as quick as possible, we are going to go ahead and grab 2 signs. So we're actually going to grab 5 signs, and we're going to place them like so. And even though there's an odd gap right here, this sign does give us the effect that we need. If we really wanted to keep things a little more congruent, what we could do is place that sign that way, and that'll just make sure that everything looks a little bit more normalized, if you will. But it doesn't make or break anything to have it organized differently than that. We'll then need to line the backside of these dispensers with some redstone in order to allow them to activate, and we'll build the activation system here in just a moment because I want this to chain off of the bone meal dispenser that we have as well. Okay, so I've made a couple of additions to the farm here, and that is so we can run some of our redstone. And what we'll want to go ahead and do is make that chain now. So we'll want to put 1 piece here, and then this will run up either side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that 6th offshoot goes over to the dropper that's here. But then we also have 6, 7, 8, 9 leading over to here. 10, 11, 12, and actually right here is where we're going to start doing a couple of repeaters. And we'll just run 3 of them along each side here, and that'll ensure that the bone meal triggers before the water comes around and washes everything out of this system. So now let's go ahead and line the other side so it looks the same. We'll want 1 piece here and 1 piece here. We'll leave these 3, but then we'll need to leave the remainder of this trail running back out the other side so everything looks identical. And then we can pull our trapdoor away because we are no longer going to need that there for this farm to work. So next we'll just need to craft up a couple extra repeaters. We need 4 more of them, so we're going to need to make 8 of these torches. And with those 8 torches made, we can then place 4 of them on either side, move this redstone in between, and then take our stone and run it along the center just like that. That'll give us the 6 repeaters that we will need. And it'll probably be enough just to have all of these on a 1 tick delay, as that's going to extend the duration by 3. But if we need to adjust that further, we can. I don't think it's going to need that in all honesty. So the last thing that we have to do now is to fill in these dispensers with the buckets of water. You don't have to put them in the center slot. I like to, just because it makes my brain feel a little bit better about it. I don't think I'm OCD, but I very possibly could be. Either way, it makes me feel better having the buckets of water in the middle of these dispensers. And now that we have everything set up, everything's connected, we have a collection system down out the back here. It's fairly simple. Those hoppers just lead into a 6th hopper that I placed that runs into these double chests. And now we can press this button here and see if it does indeed dispense everything. And it does, but now I'm realizing that there was a little bit of an oversight with how I have this set up. Because what we need is a way for these these dispensers to toggle off after they've dispensed the water. So let's think about that for just a moment. So I think what our best answer is going to be is we don't need to see this farm running to know how efficient it is, but we'll place a secondary button right here, because I've made a adjustment to some additional redstone. So this should 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and yeah, it continues off the end here, 14, 15. But even if the signal does reach here, it's not going to matter because repeaters are one directional, and so there will not be any signal passed back along down this way. So now if we test this again, you should see that pressing this button causes everything to cycle out, and then if we hit this button, that will cause the dispensers to turn off, and then we can toggle those back and forth and collect a variety of different goods in this area. So just like so, we'll just need to toggle these back and forth every now and again. But if we wanted to, this wouldn't be that difficult of a process to reverse, and that could be accomplished with a hopper clock and an adjustment to how we're using the redstone here. But you could very simply hook a design of this caliber up to a hopper clock in order to automate the system so you're not operating it manually with the buttons. However, this is going to do just fine for my reasons. And then if we ever need to clear this area out of the different warped roots and crimson roots that pop up, we can grab those, and as an added bonus, we can actually get a little bit of our bone meal back by throwing these into a composter array, which I have with this. It simply sucks the roots out of the chest into this hopper. Hoppers are able to automatically dispense organic goods into composters, and then that turns it into bone meal, as you see down here. So overall, it's a little bit more automated. Yes, it could be completely autonomous, but I don't need this particular farm to be that way, though who knows, maybe at some point down the road, I will want or be more interested in having that as a feature, and we'll revisit this farm to make those adjustments. But that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe for daily content if you haven't done so already. But until then, thanks again for your time, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.